on a Gladesmen adventure to explore the hidden gems of Florida's wilderness. An airboat, the only vessel perfectly suited for these terrains, is ready to carry us into the heart of the untouched landscape. Our adventure begins as we glide through remote marshes, across fields of sawgrass, and down rivers that run through the vast wilderness areas of this great state. The Gladesmen, the original stewards of this unique ecosystem, knew these waters intimately, will strive to connect with the spirit of their heritage, deeply rooted in hunting and fishing, while searching out the most tranquil and serene landscapes. We'll explore their techniques, share their stories, and pay homage to the traditions that have sustained them for generations. These moments will be preserved, creating a visual archive of the natural wonders that often go unseen. Also, showcased in our videos, safe operation and maintenance of an airboat is crucial, and we'll delve into the intricacies of driving and keeping this unique watercraft in prime condition for these wild adventures. So join me as we navigate the waters, document the untouched beauty, and pay tribute to the Gladesmen who have preserved the spirit of old Florida on Gladesmen Journeys. Alright, what is an airboat? Is an aluminum hull, fiberglass hull, a motor and controls and stuff. It's none of those things. It's freedom. Much like any other boat is. It's freedom to get away. As soon as you push away from that dock, the boss, the bills, the bank, the everyday life, all this stuff just kind of fades away, and you're able to reconnect with nature, with buddies, with family members that enjoy the outdoors along with you. That's what owning an airboat is. It's building confidence in operating one, because there is a learning curve in how to operate an airboat safely. But then as you master these things, it's almost like, it's triumphant. It's like, wow, things that I was afraid of doing in the past, I've done it, I've mastered it. And it allows you to get to places where no other watercraft is going to take you. That's very empowering. Plus it's a lot of fun. It's just fun. It's fun getting to your locations. It's fun getting back from the locations, exploring new areas you've never been to in the marsh or on a lake or something like that. You might be going into an area where there's never been another watercraft, because the airboat allows you that access where an outboard power boat or a mud boat or something like that could never get to the areas that an airboat can. I'm a pilot. I love to fly. I'm also an outdoorsman, and I love to hunt and I love to fish. Problem is, on the days like today where it's good for fishing or hunting, it's also good for flying, and I was always getting pulled between, which one of these passions do I want to fuel that day? Well, an airboat was a way I could combine all of them. It's very much like flying an airplane. It allows me to fish, it allows me to hunt. The main thing is it allows me access into areas that I could never get to in a conventional boat. I even got my seaplane rating, thinking maybe I could fish from a seaplane, and that's not practical. The airboat, that combines all of my passions into one thing that I'm able to kind of do three things at once. And I think maybe that's another reason it's drawing me to airboats so much. Another thing I love about airboats is driving from this elevated position. You see so much more. Anybody who's ever fished offshore and gone up into a tower of a sport fish boat, or if you're on the flats and you're up on the poling platform and you're poling across a flat, you see so much more than the people down inside the boat. And that's what an airboat affords you. You're up, you're high, you're able to see further out. Because look, when you drive an airboat, you need to be driving this boat about 100 yards ahead of the boat, looking for obstacles, looking for is there a blind corner coming up? Does the trail go left, go right? Am I going to run out of water? So being elevated, it gives you a lot better vantage point, and it's a much safer location to drive the boat because you can just see so much better. If you run in a lake or a marsh or an area that's unfamiliar, airboats are extremely safe in the fact that you don't have to worry about stumps and what's under the water, and am I in 2 feet of water or 2 inches of water. An airboat can glide through all of that stuff, and it's a lot safer than an outboard powered boat because you don't have that big lower unit dragging through the water. Also too, when it comes to the environment, you can go across a lily pad field or a hydrilla or whatever, and when you turn around and look, you can't even see where you were. Now, if you took an outboard powered boat or a mud boat or something through there, it works like a Cuisinart blade, and it just chops up everything in its path, and you turn around and you can see the definite path where you've been. Airboats don't do that. We make noise, yeah, they're noisy, but other than that, our impact on the environment is far less than anything with a propeller that's underwater. Airboats are great platforms for fishing and hunting. You can fish off of them just like you can a bass boat. If you get a bigger one like this, it's super stable. You can walk around the boat and it's not very tippy at all. There's areas, especially on the Kissimmee River Basin, where you can hunt right from your airboat. There's miles and miles of the Kissimmee River. It's all part of the public use area and the wildlife management area, and it's all open to hunting. And you can run the airboat through there, and you can actually pull up to an area you want to hunt and hunt from your airboat. We do this in the marsh all the time. We duck hunt out of this boat. And we'll pull up to an area we want to hunt, put the decoys out. I have a big camouflage cover we put over the boat. We stay in the boat and we hunt from the boat. And here again, it's in an area where you could never get to with an outboard powered boat. It's way back in the marsh. It's safe. We're up high. We're out of the water. We're not walking through the marsh in waders at 4 o'clock in the morning like I've done in the past. So the airboat is a great platform if you're an outdoorsman. There's over 1 million registered boats in the state of Florida. But if you look at just airboats specifically, there's just a little over 12,000 registered airboats, and over 1,000 of those are tour boats. So registered airboats in the state of Florida, we represent about 11,000 boats against a total of 1 million. So what does that mean? It means when you're on the water in a regular boat, saltwater, freshwater, and you're in impoundment, you're in an area where a lot of other people have access to. When you're in an airboat, you're in an elite group, a much smaller number of registered boats, and you get to areas where you're not going to see other boats. There's many times I take the boat out and I don't see anybody all day long. I feel like I'm the only person in this area, the only person on the lake, only because I can get to areas in this airboat that you can't get to in a conventional boat. If you're interested in getting an airboat, yeah, there's some $5,000, $6,000, $7,000, $8,000 airboats out there, all the way up to new airboats that are pushing $100,000. It just depends on what your application is, how big of a boat you need, how many people do you want to carry on the boat, and what do you want to do with the boat, and of course what your budget is. You don't have to have $100,000 to get on the water in an airboat. You can do it for just a fraction of that cost, but yet you can still get to the same areas as the high dollar boats. The more people we get out on airboats, the more people will understand what draws us to the outdoors and what draws us to the marsh and to these areas that you can only get to in an airboat. They'll help us protect this. They'll help us protect the environment, but also they'll help us protect the access to these areas. If no one's ever experienced it, it'll be really hard for them to understand what draws us here into the marsh and into these backwaters.